You're live.
Okay, so the general idea is that you want to sell products. There's four general ways to make money selling products on places like Amazon. There's one where you buy a product that you know you could sell, but you buy it cheaper than everybody else. Then there's a product that you buy that nobody else has. That means you have access to a product, so it doesn't matter as much how much you pay for the product, but because you're the only person that has it. And then there's the concept of building a brand, which means you take a product and you're turning it into a successful product on your own. That allows you to, it's much harder in some ways because you're trying to make yourself visible and build around something that you're creating. However, if you have the ability to do it, you're in control of the product. You don't have to keep on worrying every day who else is going to buy this product and who's going to compete with me on this product, etc. Because you are the person that owns the brand and you remain in control of what happens with the brand. So I just want to give you guys now a general direction and a piece of advice for your business. Most guys that are on the internet, on Amazon in Crown Heights and surrounding areas, sell cell phones and accessories. Everybody tries to beat each other out by buying cell phone accessories better than the other. And when that doesn't work anymore, then they buy refurbished ones and they try to sell it as new, and then that doesn't work anymore, then they buy used, and then they buy counterfeit stuff, and it goes down a slippery slope, and by the time they're done, they get kicked off Amazon, and it's not a way of building up a business. So I highly recommend that you find products to sell, you try to get into a business where you can, in some form or another, set yourself apart from everybody else. Either by building your own brand, or by developing significantly different relationships with suppliers than your competitor, or by focusing on brands, focusing on product categories that are less frequented by your Jewish brethren, which I don't know if I should say this on camera, but Jewish people are generally into sexy type of products. Sexy type of products doesn't mean, it doesn't,
Cool product.
I mean, it's cool products, right? They can think about.
When you say your own brand, you mean your own private label?
Yes, we'll get to that in a second. But you know, computers and laptops and cell phones and electronics and kitchen items, and that's the type of thing where you're going to find a ton of Jewish competitors. But then when you start going off into like home decorations and more like scientific instruments and things like that, they may not be nearly as popular categories, but if you can establish yourself in that type of category, you can set yourself apart and you don't have to deal with 600 other people that are trying to encroach on your territory. As I said, the idea of this course is really to try to build a business and not just talk in theory. So what we did today is we actually brought along some products which we're going to give to you to sell on Amazon, so that you can go through the entire process of actually listing products for sale, sending products into FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon, like we discussed. We're going to go through the idea of researching how to know if it's the right product to sell, what we have to look out for, and how to price the product, how to know that you're making money. So we discussed a lot of these things a little bit last week in theory, but this week we're actually taking it into reality. So the idea over here is that you walk away from here today. After today, I want you to already try to start selling products on Amazon. We're going to continuously work on developing our skill set further and taking it to the next step. But right now, we want to start building a business. So Mendy's going to do the technical stuff because, quite frankly, I'm not very good at the technical part of it. But I brought along some products. They're not expensive products. I'm not giving you gifts of hundreds of dollars over here, but we have me take this one. I'm going to randomly assign products to, and we're going to go through the process of researching the products, seeing what to look out for, how to price it, etc., so that we can get some real experience. So I just want to make sure that all of you actually have functioning Amazon accounts at this point.
Working on it. I've been calling them for the past week.
You haven't.
They're in the middle of closing it, but it was under an old email account. I can't access it.
You
And
cannot.
that's cool. No, they closed down our email account. So they were sending verification letters to the email account, and I told them I can't read them in emails. I said you have to call me, do something. So they're supposed to call in the next like 24 hours.
Okay.
That's what they told me.
All right.
So, hopefully they're
I
actually
just want to reiterate, if you have something that you need help with throughout the week, I mean, we do this, the reason why we're spreading this course out is so that we can actually do things and build up businesses so we know the issues that come up and the questions that come up. If you have questions or if you need help to know how to navigate Amazon, how to contact Amazon, how to get responses, etc., do contact us throughout the week so that we can make sure that we can. It's a pity that you cannot physically take part in this particular exercise, but for now, I guess whichever accounts we do have, follow along so that we can. Okay, so I have over here this product. It's a silicone bunt. No, it's not a bunt pan. What is it? A cake form.
Loaf pan.
Loaf cake pan. So we're going to take this product and we're going to research this product to see how much we can sell it for, etc. Man, did you want to help me out over here? Okay, just as a little refresher, what's the easiest way to research this product on Amazon?
Hold over code.
Okay, so I have over here UPC code, right? Or I have a model number, so we can try to go either way. You know, let's just go to Amazon.com for a second. Okay? So, this is an EB631. You can follow along, do it on your own computers as well.
First we'll see what happens if it's search
EB,
by.
just EB, not EBC, EB dash.
I don't have to look over there, I can look over here. Alright.
Okay, so you're going to come up with all the EB631s that exist on Amazon.
Now, we'll search by the UPC code.
Alright, let's try the UPC. The UPC is 072 3175 6356 85. Okay, you guys all found this? Okay, so we have a silicone loaf pan. You guys remember the simplest way of listing a product on Amazon? What would you do right now on your computer to list this product? Okay. Why don't we do that?
Don't everybody follow along and add the same like SKU
Okay.
or
So you know what? Let's just follow along watching on this particular one, okay?
here, so we're gonna call it a SKU. For this case, I'm gonna call it.
But I specifically want your interaction over here, so all of you,
Then we'll do this thing over with their things, but now just,
okay.
so think of a SKU name is is what you're gonna call it in your own system, or how you're gonna track your inventory, so somehow associate it, with the item that you're selling.
You're not up to this, you are?
It's gonna be a drop further down.
Okay, fine. But here's a condition note. Do I need to put in a condition note if I'm selling a new product? No, I don't. How many do we have over here? One. How much am I selling it for?
Now we'll just put in any price, but soon we'll speak about the difference and how you should price an item depending on what your cost is and what it's selling for and things like that. So just for this, we'll put in $195.
Anybody remember the tax code that we're going for?
8 dash,
I counted over here again.
no,
A gen tax, right? So we start typing A_gen tax. This is a regular taxable item. Then a SKU. Now, in general, I'm going to give you this. There's two different ways of doing SKUs. One of them is that you have a system where you just give numbers randomly, let's say ABC 1 2 3, and then ABC 1 2 3 4, 1 2 4, and then etc. Or you want to give it a descriptive SKU, so that if you want to search it afterwards, you can find it by the name of the SKU. So we're going to go with the more descriptive SKU right now. So what is this? We can call it an LB.
Let's say we'll do ELB for the first 3 letters of the company, but don't do the same thing by you.
And no, they're not doing this particular item.
ELB dash cake, because this same thing comes in a few different sizes, so you can get it like a round one, or you can get a cake one. Maybe if it came in different sizes, I would just stick in like a number for a size, and I'm gonna do P, okay? I'm just gonna, because I want.
No, that is one.
Because men have like 5 colors.
No, just
Fuchsia.
I'll tell you, the more everything you do in your business, the more you're able to fit them into regular, the regulars without having to, whether it's naming SKUs or OLs or how you're going to categorize, whatever you're going to want to categorize. If you say you're receiving returns and you're going to say, okay, this one came back because the buyer didn't like the color. This one came back because the buyer didn't like this. This one, before you know it, you can have 150 different reasons and you'll never be able to.
Yeah, so
report.
He's mentioning a really good general concept in business. It's not always going to be you. You're going to open a business, you're going to grow a huge business, and it's going to be employees. The more standard rules you set, the less problems you end up having. So if your standard rule is, I take the first 3 letters of a manufacturer's name, that's the beginning of the SKU. The second part of it is, let's say, the descriptive part of it, cake, and then the third part of it is the color of it. That means that any time any employee of yours will try to figure out a SKU, they can just type in first 3 letters, etc., etc. So the more things you can make standard, the less problems you're going to have afterwards. Alright, so
You don't put in a SKU, doesn't Amazon generate one by itself?
yes, but it's going to be a random SKU. So.
There's a benefit to you doing SKUs your own way. Number one is you can sort things. Right? There's a lot of benefit because if you're ever looking at your inventory, you can sort them. You'll see everything from one company will be, and of this item, you'll be able to see all the colors in a row. Another thing is sometimes you're going to try to search for an item. Amazon, when you search, sometimes, unlike when you go to Google and you type something in on Amazon, in Seller Central, you have to match the case also, uppercase or lowercase. So you're going to try to find an item, someone's on the phone and they want to know if you have more of something in stock and you're trying to find the item that they're talking about. And whatever you type in is not going to work. But if you know that if it's a pan from LB, you search, EL, understand? You'll be able to use it to your benefit if you work in a uniform way. Okay, but first, before we go and add this item as an FBA theme, first we'll go and we'll add the item. We'll add the item from this part, the easy way of adding an item onto Amazon. We'll add it as a seller fulfilled item. We're not going to go through the steps of selling it on FBA. Then we'll go through the second step that we showed yesterday, where we'll search for the item based on, and maybe then everybody will take a different item. We'll search for the item based on your UPC code or on the model number and see if you could call it up from Amazon's catalog, and then we'll end up making an FBA SKU for it. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to say I want to ship this item by myself. And I have to sign in.
keep that here for a second. So I gave each one of you, not you for now.
Okay, I've done it before.
Okay,
So I'm familiar with it.
okay, no problem. So each one of you has an item. Meanwhile, you can just check it out on Amazon to see how you find this item. Look at it for argument's sake that someone is offering you. No, I have an item from him. It's just that he doesn't have his account set up. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we submitted this listing. It's now live, right? It's as simple as that. You only have to put in 5 lines. The listing is live. You are now a seller. It takes a few minutes. Probably going to take about 10 minutes or so until the item shows up for sale on Amazon. Where would it show up? Do any of you know where this item would show up? Where would I look for it after this?
Kitchen
No, on the page over here.
on the other side.
You go
Okay.
to my Amazon.
No, but for sale. Where are we going to see if the item is available for
Ours,
sale?
the one that we
have
posted,
the box.
Yeah.
on the other sellers.
So,
We want to know if you have the box.
If there's more than one, if it's up already and there's more than one seller.
okay. I would like you to now take your items, find them on Amazon, and list them for sale. You have access to Amazon?
First find the item, and then
internet. I have access to Amazon. I'm just trying to catch
Alright.
on the internet. Give me a sec.
make sure you remember the steps we did last time.
Does this thing show up over here? No, yeah, so you have to check this thing off right now do a search. You have to refresh it and refresh it.
Should I do any price or should I?
So for now, let's list it a little bit higher than the price that you see listed on Amazon because we're just playing around with it. So, Shield, if you see it for $9, how much is it on Amazon?
I get it from connected.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to try to connect. I'm going to continue talking meanwhile. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to research a product on Amazon. First of all, if someone is offering you a product, one of the things to look for is how it's rated. A good piece of advice to you, if someone is trying to sell you an item that has a 2-star rating on Amazon, chances are you're going to have a lot of problems because of it. Used to be just a problem of returns because people are probably not happy with this product. That's one issue. But nowadays, when a person looks at bad reviews and then they return it to Amazon, they tell them that it's counterfeit or whatever else, and they end up getting you kicked off Amazon. So I don't like listing products anymore nowadays if they have bad reviews on Amazon. I really try to stay away from that as much as possible. A good indication of an item is popular or not is the amount of reviews that you see. This particular item has 46 reviews. It's not good, it's not bad, it doesn't tell you very much. If we go down, you're going to see over here, you're going to see Amazon bestseller rank if it's a good selling item. This particular item is approximately number 16,000 in kitchen. Okay, what does that mean?
Not so hot.
Not so hot.
I'm not
Okay.
going to sell that one so quick.
That's good. How would you possibly know what this means in general? I mean, because you have a bunch of different categories, and in every category it means something else. So the first thing I want to tell you to look out for is there's what Amazon likes to do a lot of times is, for example, if you're trying to sell an item that really doesn't sell that well on Amazon, they'll say, and it's number 21 in silicone cake pans, which is a subcategory of cake pans, which is a subcategory of kitchen utensils, which is a subcategory of kitchen and home. So you have no clue how well it sells, but it looks like it's a good seller because it's number 21. So the real number to always look out for is the one that is the main category number. So this particular main category is number 16,000, and he's right. Number 16,000 in kitchen and dining is not a great number. It means that it probably does not sell very well. To give you, based on my previous experience, I'll give you an estimate that this sells approximately 2 to 3 times a week in total. Okay? That means if someone were to call you right now and say, I have 500 of these, I can sell it to you for $2 a piece, and you go ahead and you look at this, you say, I sell about 2 pieces a week. How long will it take you to sell it? About 5 years, if you're lucky, if you're the only seller on it. So you have to always be really, really careful to look at all the factors involved, right? So definitely look at the sales rank. Okay, the second thing you want to look at is obviously the price. Okay, now how do you know when this price started? Sometimes one of the things that when people offer you a product for you to sell on Amazon, they make it really hot by lowering the price really low, and then they raise the price up, and they say, look how much it sells for and look how hot it is, because the sales rank is still good, and the price looks like it's really high now. So what do you do? How do you know if the person is telling you the truth or if they're not telling you the truth?
Camel.
Who said that? That's you, okay. So one of the great websites for that is Camel. Write it down or go there on another tab. We're going to do that in a minute though. So there's this website called Camel. I don't know how they came up with the name, but it's pretty sticky.
Humps.
You'll never...
The product going up and down.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I don't know, that's what I
See, I
said.
learn new things every day, but either way, once you hear that name once, you pretty much remember it forever. So, simplest way, you see there's a search bar on top of this webpage, and you just put in the ASINs. And what we're going to do over here is we'll go back to Amazon for a second, the item that we were looking at. Does anybody know where I can find the ASIN for the item? We discussed it last week.
In the address bar, as well as.
Okay. So one of the places to
This
find
one will
it.
be tricky to find always, because you see how it's a variation, it shows you, any page that shows you, you have to be careful, you know, and we made the mistake and we bought because we didn't pay attention to what we're doing. Automatically, now this one might not be available, but it's available in 2 colors. When we click on the other color, it's not necessarily gonna change.
Just want to check if it does.
Based
On the top of the address.
Here.
The address bar is
See,
all the way at the top.
Did
the
not
address
change.
bar still stay the same. The
It's
question
okay.
is, the next place to find it on the page is over here on the bottom.
So this is a different ASIN right now. So this is the one that you can always rely on. Okay.
Yeah, they changed all
But
the
we're looking at the pink one.
Hold on a second, now for the, if you go over here to the 2-pack,
They
that
changed.
same color. Oh, you see it change, but sometimes not necessarily will it change over here.
There.
Or the address bar, we spoke about that last time, when we run into it again, we'll make sure to speak about it again. So let's go back to the single pack and the pink one. And you'll search on if you use Chrome or Firefox, there's an extension that you could get that right away leads you, when you're looking at an item on Amazon, it'll take you straight away to the
Camel.
camel page.
So it's as soon as you put it into Camel, you're going to see if you're looking at the correct item as well. So we put it into the search bar and you see it shows up over here. It's the pink one. So what do you see over here? Here you can see the pricing history of this item. Tells you over here from December 7th until May 8th. The lowest price it ever sold for is how much? It's $8,7.99. The highest price it ever sold for is $9.49. So, for all intents and purposes, don't expect it to sell for more. But you don't have to be worried right now that it's going to sell for less, because nobody ever sold it for less. But this is really, really important. A lot of times you get offered a product and it looks really good, And let's say you pay $5 for the product, but when you look at Camel, you see that someone sold it on Amazon for $6 retail or $5 retail. That means you own it at completely the wrong price. That means someone else paid $1 for it. So try to take as much information as you could to know what you're doing.
There was a point out that Amazon themselves wasn't a seller on this item,
Ever.
which could be a good thing until Amazon buys it. Because if you get something that Amazon is currently selling, or if you see that Amazon has had it in stock, chances are that the green one would be like, down to $4, because Amazon would do it even if they would lose money.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
So I think we mentioned this last week, but I'm going to tell you again. Trying to fight Amazon on an item is a bad idea. Unless you own it so much better than anybody else that you can fight them all the way down, it almost never works. If Amazon is selling, chances are you have to expect them to follow you all the way down and fight you. So be really careful. But either way, I can assume that this is going to sell for $8, so I feel pretty comfortable that if someone sells it to me at a price where I could make money at $8, at least I don't have to worry right now that it's going to come crashing down right away. So what is that price? Do you guys remember how you check how much you end up making on a product after everything? I sent you a link last week as well. I'm sorry?
FBA calculator?
Alright, do you...
I want to put into this camera. I want to show you this one for a second to show you a little bit of the difference.
In Camel, you can search in a few different ways. You can put in the ASIN, you can put in the UPC. They try to give you as many options as possible.
See that? So if let's say if my vendor is like, I have a really good item, look at what price it's selling for on Amazon for $18. Now if it went back up to that $18, so I'm an idiot and I got it at a really good price of $9, but I'll see that Amazon has been selling it down to $4.
You see, this is
Weighs
a
almost a
pretty good
pound. I
indication.
couldn't even ship this to my customer for $4. Forget about Amazon taking a commission on top of it. And if I add into it to see also the third-party sellers,
So it's been sold for as little. So the reason, first of all, is a very interesting. Make it a shorter period over here. No, it's too short. Okay. So if you look carefully, you can't see this over here because it's too far away. But if you see the reason why Amazon dropped it so low, it's because they were fighting against someone else, and they just fought it all the way down. But basically, this tells you that Amazon is willing to go as low as $4 on this item. So even if if it's selling right now at $20, you cannot assume that it's going to stay at $20 unless you know something that nobody else knows. It will come and bite you. So it's actually a very good example of a product that happened. But let's go back to the FBA calculator, and I'm now offering, someone is offering to sell this to you for $3. I want you to tell me if you're going to make money on this item or not. I'm going to give you the UPC code again, and you're going to tell me if you can make money on this item or not.
I know this sells for like $15 in the regular store.
Alright, so I'm going to give you a UPC code. Are you ready? 7231 75 63 56 85. So you know what? If you didn't put it in right now, you can put in your item as well. Just find the FBA calculator. Do you have access to the internet over here or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pulling up now.
Basically, now trying to find the search tab on it. Search for the word profitability calculator without any spaces.
Oh, you're on my Wi-Fi? Who's on my Wi-Fi right now? Is anyone on my Wi-Fi besides for me? So why don't you use my Wi-Fi now?
Yeah.
Log on. What?
Can't.
Why? Saying I'm the only one using it?
Can't.
the crowds?
No, it's not, it's better not to.
Sure.
Yeah, you
So
know,
nobody, because he hasn't anything on.
Kitty.
I connect my phone, it's not connected for some reason.
Yeah.
Same here.
Oh, yeah.
You're also not getting in.
I'm not getting in.
I
I'm
tried
trying to
all
call,
of
but
mine.
I'm no connection.
You want to restart your phone or something?
Like he's on a computer.
Maybe we'll do it over here on the big one.
Okay, so why don't we, for whoever doesn't have the ability to do this on your own.
Trying to figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay. So we said, and we're gonna talk about FBA now, so let's do the full,
Let's
one
try
of the
both
full
ways.
analysis of if it's worth this item that Israel is holding, if my cost is $3, to see if it's worth.
How much can I sell it for again? Based on how you saw.
It was
$8,
$8.
right? So I can assume pretty much I can sell this for $8. So someone is off.
Let's take into consideration also how much money it cost us to ship it to the customer.
Hold on, this is how much you're gonna sell it for.
Do you want to undercut the $8 usually, or?
Not necessarily. If you're sending it into FBA and there's another seller in FBA and Amazon is not there, then you're equal to them pretty much. That means you have the same, you keep on sharing, it goes back and forth.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in, it doesn't make, now, all the lower parts of the calculator, as you play around, you'll notice, it doesn't make a difference, it's not that one specifically has to be in one line. I could use any one of those lines, if the top line is how much I'm gonna sell it for. Amazon's gonna give you their calculations, and anything that I put in any of these places over here is gonna be my expenses that are involved, okay? Just Amazon breaks it up, because if you're fulfilling it yourself, sometimes you have more expenses you have to put in.
The item price is what?
Saying here, the item price, item price is how much I'm selling it for. We'll put them in both tabs, because you wanna see, how much will your profit will be if you're fulfilling it by yourself, so it says your fulfillment, or if Amazon is doing the fulfillment. Now, my cost of the item itself, we said is $3, so I'm gonna put that in over here also, on both of them. Now, thinking.
What other costs?
Yeah.
Shipping.
Alright.
Yeah, well, you have costs involved for your fulfillment, and there's other costs that are involved for Amazon
So
fulfillment.
the more honest you are with yourself, the more of a real answer you're gonna get to this question. You know, a lot of people say, okay, my cost is $3, that's it. But no matter how you're gonna swing it, it's gonna cost you money to either send this item to Amazon or to ship this item to a customer. You gotta take these costs into consideration as well, okay? So one of the costs associated with sending a product to Amazon itself.
You get charged for being
It doesn't, forget about these things are mixing you up. I can take, forget about what it says here, I can put my expenses in any one of these boxes or in any one of these boxes. Amazon is just giving you ideas of what your expenses would be, because I bought it from my vendor, besides for the $3, I have to pay him a quarter to get it to me. So you would stick in 25 cents. Then,
How much it'll cost? What else do I need? What other expenses? Think about it. What other expenses are associated?
Envelope or a box.
Envelope or box. How much can we reasonably say that this is going to cost to put into a box or an envelope? I would say to be safe, about 30 to 40 cents. Okay, so what other expenses?
but that's only if you're shipping it to,
Either.
there's different expenses if you're sending it to Amazon, or if you're sending it to. So if we send it to Amazon, the expenses are how much money, in other words, how much money is gonna cost me to get it to my warehouse from the vendor, and then how much money is gonna cost me to get from the vendor to Amazon. So let's say I'm a very good negotiator and I'm getting free shipping, so it doesn't cost me any money, it's $3 a piece, I got it clean, there's no expenses on the inbound. But how much money does it cost me to send it to Amazon? I have to do a calculation, you know, it's gonna cost me UPS, we're gonna get into that part soon about shipping items to Amazon. But to be a fair thing, if it's a lightweight item and it's not gonna be that expensive, you don't have to add that much to get it to Amazon.
Besides, but you have to get boxes to send things to Amazon, but you can put 50 of them into a box. So if the box costs you $1, it costs you 2 cents per piece, right? In Amazon, if you have 50 of these, you just put 50 into one box.
So we'll add for this, we're gonna add 25 cents. Okay, so my expenses here is $3.25. If I ship it to my own customer, besides for the $3, I have to add, 35 cents for packaging, right? And then I have to add $2.50 for the post office, which is probably gonna be a better rate than we would actually pay to ship that. So maybe we should even change it to
Well, I
$3.
spent $3 on it.
What?
Yeah, but that's just to buy the item.
It's $3 to buy the item, 35 cents for me to buy the packaging. You know, when I ship it to my customer, it's gonna cost me 35 cents, and it's gonna cost me $3 for the actual postage, right? If I'm putting it in the post office, in my mailbox. So far I have expenses of $3.35 over here. If you're a regular business, you would also take into consideration your employees. These are the people, a lot of people go broke because they don't take into consideration that it costs you money to warehouse, it costs you money to have somebody help you do the work. You're gonna pay, you know, a salary every day. But you know, I don't have a cost for this, and now we're gonna leave
It's
it
like
the way it
10
is.
cents,
10 cents, all right. And then I'm gonna hit calculate to see what the difference. Okay, so
Am I making any money?
30 cents.
This way, if I ship it myself, I end up with 34 cents. If I ship it into FBA and it sells, I make 83 cents. Now, is that margin-wise? It's not terrible. If I sell an item for $8 and I make 83 cents, if I sell an item for $80 and I make $8, it's not terrible. But you have to consider, for 83 cents, how much work are you going to put into something? So
I'm not gonna put any work into that.
it's very few operations out there that have the ability to run such a clean operation where everything works like clockwork, that they can make money when they have tiny little margins to work with. Generally speaking, this is not the type of margin that you want to work with. You really want to put yourself into a position where you can make on any item, at least, let's say $1.25, $1.50, just to make it worth your while. So if this were to be selling for $9, let's put in $8.99 for a second.
Question.
Just 1 second.
you know,
Put in-
it's the benefit of if it went FBA, you'd get a lot more sales. In this case, besides for making more money.
Okay. So now on a $9 item to make $1.68, it is no longer such a terrible thing, but taking all the factors into consideration, generally speaking, if someone offers you this particular item for $3 and you have to sell it for $8, you're not going to make enough money to make it worth your while. Yeah.
But if you're okay with, let's say, 10% margins, because you said $8 of kind of $80 item, what's the difference with what you're making? As long as you're making 10%, just buy more stuff.
You tell me. I want you to answer that question.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, just buy more, but yeah, you're gonna have to do a little more work.
Okay, so I'll tell you what it is. It's the unknown costs that kill you. It's the little things like it didn't arrive on time. There's a lost package. There's a customer service issue. There's returns. You have to understand, if you get a customer on Amazon, the customer's always right. If a customer decides that he's going to destroy this product and say that you sent them a bad item, it's your problem, right? So you now lost the cost of your item. So let's say between all your fees, it cost you $5, $6 to get this item to the customer. So you have only 80 cents to work with. That means you just lost a profit of 8 items. So you really want to put yourself into a position where you allow yourself a little bit of a cushion. I'm not saying that there are no operations that can work on 80-cent margins, but there's very few operations that can do it profitably. And very often you think you're making profits doing it, and then when you look at your numbers after a year or after half a year, you realize you lost your pounds. It's always something that you're forgetting.
Yeah, so if you look at it, if you package 200 orders a day and you made 10%, but at the end of the day, you only ended up making 200 times 30 cents or 200, you made 200, you didn't even make $200 that day. If you were selling a higher ticket item and you made the 10% at the end of the day,
Why limit it to 200 items a day?
yeah, I understand that part. As your
I like your
business
vision. I do. I like
as your business grows, I'll tell you, if you ask most people that are out there, they have a blend. You're not gonna be able to just, it's a whole separate business conversation, but you're not gonna be able to just have high ticket items, which are gonna be, you know, you'll build in your 10% profit, and you'll be able to, you know, make a lot more money, but you're gonna have to, you're not only gonna be able to have that, but you'll definitely see I guarantee you that if you went over to only become available, and the item is actually in Amazon's warehouse, or once they accepted it, even if they move it around. But, so so sometimes there's reasons why you take an item, you only want it, you want to convert it, maybe because my vendor told me that he's, my order for 500 pieces is coming in tomorrow and I want to be prepared for it. So I already converted it. But now we're going to do convert, and I actually want to send the pieces into Amazon.
So if you convert only, it's not gonna show. up in
Convert
your
only,
inventory.
it's not going to show, it's
Inventory will be zero.
my inventory will be zero,
If you didn't have.
because again, Amazon, I'm not tracking my inventory,
You don't
anymore.
have it.
Amazon is, and
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't have any pieces.
Right.
And the listing that I was on before, or I was on this page before, and I showed up, it says my name for $9.95. But once I convert it to Amazon, a couple of minutes later, this is not gonna be available anymore, because I already said that, then once it becomes an FBA item, the inventory is all dependent on Amazon. That means when they get it in stock, it becomes available, and if they don't have it in stock, it's not available. So I do convert and send inventory.
I'll talk to this page of set your fulfillment value label, Amazon label preference.
So,
I guess I consider we
Get started,
here.
terms of service,
Okay, you have to accept the,
just
okay,
accept.
Amazon has a, what the part you're gonna have to accept is Amazon has another thing which is called commingle, and see, as we go, we're gonna see, we miss different parts. I think it's called stickerless, and there's a thing that's called commingle. You could switch, it's a good part to listen to. You could switch back and forth, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you could do it. The difference between commingled and not commingled is, and I'll give you a few general rules about sending things to Amazon. Every single thing has to have in it a scannable barcode. Either it has to be a UPC code, or it has to be Amazon's ASIN number that can be scanned. Okay? So in this instance, there's a UPC code. Now what I could do is, I'm sending my pieces in, I want it to be hassle-free, so I'm doing a thing that's called stickerless commingled. Which means that my item is gonna get to Amazon's warehouse, and then when you order the piece from me, not necessarily will you get the one that I sent into Amazon. So if I made a little black mark over here, I did a test, I'm gonna say I sent Amazon one piece, and now let me place an order from a friend's house. I asked a friend or my grandmother to place an order, and I wanna see if it's gonna come with this little black marker on it. You probably won't get it, because my one piece that I sent into Amazon was commingled. That means Amazon receives it, they stock it in their warehouse, and then when someone buys it from me or from another seller, their system tells them, oh, we have one of these items in the warehouse, and they'll take it and they'll ship it. So that's what commingled means. All right?
They mix it up with the whole other.
They mix it up. Make believe when it gets to Amazon, there's one big bin like this, and Amazon throws all the pieces inside it. And whoever orders first, they grab it out of that box.
All the pieces meaning from other sellers.
Yeah, I'll give you so much of it. So sometimes I send Amazon an item and it's packaged like this. But my customer complained and says, you had a picture showing that it's packaged like this, but I got mine and it came just 3 things like this, one on top of the other, with a twist tie and a label dangling off. That doesn't mean that I sent Amazon the wrong thing, it just means that another seller sent Amazon that another seller sent Amazon a different packaging. Or if you go into electronics, this is all stickerless commingled. The game that everybody's busy gaming the system. I buy a Bluetooth headset that looks like this, that costs $100, but I bought a used one, exact, pristine box, it's beautiful. Let me just send it into Amazon, and hopefully my customer is gonna get one, a real one that somebody bought, and they're gonna be happy. And the one that I sent in, some other schmuck's gonna get it and they'll be sad and they'll complain to somebody else. That's one concept. I'll just give you the guidelines that even though I said it's as if Amazon dumps it into one big box, it's not really like that. Amazon's center, if I send pieces in, their computer tells them, okay, stock it in this location. And then the next persons, they say stock it in this location. There's all the different warehouses. So when Amazon picks something, they know exactly who sent it in, what day they sent it in, what it looked like, they take pictures of everything, so you're going to get into trouble doing that. But that's what people try to do. That's stickerless. Then there's another thing that, let's say, and I do this, some vendors that we buy things from, especially in the cell phone category, that I'm a partner in a very large company's closeout. That means their end-of-life items comes to me or to 2 other companies. And part of their way of tracking who's selling junk is that they do, my agreement is everything that I send to them must be stickered, which means it's not gonna be commingled. And then, so I'm gonna have to take a sticker, and every item that I send it to Amazon, I have to cover over the barcode, because we don't want Amazon to just scan this. It's something that's unique to me. So every one of my customers is gonna get an item that I sent into them, okay? When you go, the first time you go to your Amazon page, the issue that you're looking at, the page that you're looking at is asking if you wanna do it stickered or, stickerless, commingled, or if you don't want it to be like that. That's this concept of if I want the item to be exclusively mine. I think when we start, especially with these items, you could do commingled. You're able to change it on Amazon, and I can show you a settings page in a second where you can change it. And I do it by me all day long. Sometimes we ship items in as commingled, stickerless, and anything that's past a certain, dollar threshold, or if we have agreements with the company, that's not allowed to be stickerless, it can't be commingled. So we change it back and forth, we create the shipment, then we change it back. Just remember, if I have to pay somebody, today I paid somebody to label yo-yos, which is like you said, by now, by the time a buyer in my office bought it, but before the items even went out of my warehouse, I already lost money on them. That's to answer your question before about, if it's worth doing a lot. The guy thought it made sense to him, but they come case packed. So you buy, there'd be 7 different style yo-yos in each box, but on Amazon, each one is a different listing. So I have to separate them. I have to label them because sometimes Amazon will force you to label certain items if it's a SKU that they have trouble on. So whatever you set up for now to start, you're better off setting up, commingled, which means non-stickerless. And that's what we'll do to send our item into Amazon. If an item doesn't have a barcode, it could still be commingled. You'll just print out Amazon's label that has, a barcode made up of the ASIN, which starts with the B00 whatever thing. You could just stick them on to your item, and then that will be the barcode, and it's also considered, stickerless. All right, so after you,
Is it cheaper to do commingle?
it's for sure cheaper because you're saving on labor. You don't have to labor it yourself.
No, that is I'm saying Amazon.
No. And if it's not commingled and you don't label it, then Amazon's going to charge you like 25 cents to put a label. So.
I'm saying if you choose commingled or not, they don't charge you.
No, it's a business decision. There's reasons to do both. If it's a cheap item, something like this, I wouldn't even waste my time. Chances are you're going to make 25 to 50 cents. If you forecast what you think you're going to sell, how many pieces, and how many pieces are going to be lost or broken, and customer complaints. You're left with a quarter if you have to spend that 25 cents on labeling it.
And you can't use the UPC and not commingle it?
No, because if you're not commingling it, Amazon has to have something on the package to show that this item belongs exclusively to you and not to somebody else. So I go to this page and I set up, I want to do, see this is also something that changed with Amazon. It used to be that I was able to say I want to ship all these hundreds of items to Amazon, and I was able to send it all into one place, and I have to give you the background to this, and then I'll be able to send it. Now Amazon became a little bit smarter, and their system forecasts for you where you would send your items to. So they say, this item, our system says we need to have more pieces in the warehouse that's in Newark, New Jersey, or we need to have more pieces somewhere in Pennsylvania, whatever it is. So the way it starts out is you create a plan, which is basically, I tell Amazon, these are all the pieces that I want to send to you. That's my plan. And as you go through the steps, Amazon is going to go and they're going to break your plan up into actual shipments. What that means to you is, it means that if I took these 3 items and I wanted to send it to Amazon now, and we'll go through these steps. That's why it's good we do our test with 1 item before we go into the next thing. Amazon, I'm going to create my plan with 3 items, or with 3 pieces of this. But then as I go through the steps, Amazon's going to say, very good, send this piece to one warehouse, this piece to another warehouse, this piece to another warehouse. Then I'm not just down a quarter, I'm paying Amazon $5 or whatever their UPS fee is going to be for each piece, because I'm buying UPS posted UPS postage to ship 3 separate packages to 3 separate locations. If this item weighed 3 pounds, I might pay $12 to ship one miserable piece to. And in general, what we found, again, everybody's busy gaming the system, and Amazon does have different options that you have to take into consideration. If you ship 20 pieces or more of an item, there's a very big chance Amazon will combine it. And another thing is, and I'm going to show you this, Amazon has another thing where they'll allow you to ship everything to one location, and they'll already break it up. They charge you for that. But then, if I have to pay $5 for each UPS label to ship each one of these items, it's costing me $15. If I could send it to one place for $5 and pay Amazon a quarter for each piece to separate it, then it costs me $5.75. The CHYE thing that was mailed about at Yeshiva a little while ago, there's one guy that sells whatever type of items he sells, and I sat with him for a couple of hours, and I worked out that if he had his vendor ship the items directly to Amazon, it's true, the number looked crazy. It was $100 more for what he paid Amazon to have them receive the items. But if he wouldn't have done that, he would have paid over $600 to send merchandise to 3 different places. So in the beginning of his business, he couldn't figure out why he wasn't making any money. We figured it out. And then he started making money because there was a lot more room for his profit in there. So now we're going to do phase 1. I'm just going to add 1 item. Okay, or when you add, you'll add 1 item, but I'm going to show you what it looks like if I add 5 items, okay? So I go over here and I'm going to do individual products or case pack products. That's the next question that Amazon asks. So first of all, you have to make your ship from address be correct. The individual products and case pack products is another place where people try to game Amazon and they get caught. This one they get caught by the second time around. Case pack product, the real concept of a case pack product means if I buy this item from, Moshe Pipik's distribution, and he has them coming directly from this LB company, and they pack this item, there's 40 pieces in a box. So on Amazon, so if I say I'm doing case pack products of 40, and I say that I'm shipping 40 pieces to Amazon, Amazon will not make me break up the shipment, because they're being kind to me. They don't want me to have to, I'm a real business, and even if you're starting out, you're a real business, they don't want you going and opening up your boxes and separating, okay, 3 pieces here, 4 pieces here, 8 pieces here. So if you do case pack, which means how an item comes, when you buy a tray of soda, it comes 24 in a can or 12 in a can. The rule with Amazon is, if I say, which it will help you a lot doing case pack, the rule with Amazon is, whatever you set for your item the first time as your case pack, that's what you're going to have to continue with Amazon for the rest of your working with Amazon. So if I want to be an Ibra Chacham and I'm going to say, let me take, I want to ship 150 pieces this order, so I'm going to say it's 150 pieces in a box, and I got a big, huge box. Yes, it's good, but from now on, in order for me to be compliant with Amazon, every one of my inbound shipments are going to have 150 pieces inside the box. So I'll end up gaining the first time around, but the next time around when I get them from my vendor in boxes of 50, either I'll be spending all that extra time repackaging them into 150 pieces, which will be just as much as your shipping cost, or you're not going to be able to send case packs, and then Amazon's going to make you make up 3 pieces here, 6 pieces here, or things like that. So I'm going to do now individual products. And the next example, we'll do another scenario. And I'm going to put that I want to send 8 items. Okay, remember this is my plan. This is the top of the tree. It still wasn't broken up. Now I'm going to get over here. You want to make sure your information is correct. Now, an interesting note I'm going to show you over here. You see how the ASIN starts with a B00 and this one starts with an X00? I call it XO labels. If you look at the Amazon form, it's called XO labels. Do you see that? So my account right now is set up that everything that I do FBA is not commingled. So the non-commingled labels, they look just like the ASINs, so the barcode will look the same, but that number is associated only to me. And because that's how my account was set up. I doubt Amazon, if your account is set up to be stickerless, commingled, it's, then your ASIN and your FBA SKU, which is the FBA ASIN, will end up looking the same. Okay, so if the fact that I did this means that I have to go now and I have to label the products. And here, I'm gonna show you quickly, you hover over, or this one doesn't have the settings, so I can't actually show it to you.
If there's any part of the process that you're not understanding or anything,
For some reason I'm trying to change it to FBA, it doesn't, the whole window don't come up on me.
did you choose the item? Did
You might have to do what he did, you might have to go through the setup first. Or try to create, you should try to create the item directly as an FBA item. But anyway, here. So now I went through the next, you see Amazon says if you need to get your guide for how you should, or they actually send, they could sell you prep material, which is probably not a bad price, but some items you send are gonna have to go in a bubble wrap, or some items will have to go in a plastic bag with a choking sticker. Whatever, these items also don't have prep guidance, so if you were selling, coffee mugs, they might have prep guidance, like it's gonna say, did you know you must prep your item first by putting them into a bubble wrap thing, or whatever, and then I'm gonna do continue. And now, and because my item also had that XO thing, I'll show you again, because my item was a commingled, was not a commingled item, so Amazon is telling me that I have to print labels for this item. So either I can print the labels myself, and now it says that the merchant is gonna label it, so Amazon's not gonna charge me, it's all on my expense. Or I could select over here, I could select that Amazon should label it, and then I'll send my thing without having to put in the labels, but Amazon will charge me the 25 cents a label. So here we're just gonna leave it merchant, because if you do it stickerless, which I think you should, you're not even gonna see it. It's gonna say no labels required. I go to the next step. And here's where Amazon is gonna break up my shipment. If you watch what happens, you see, Amazon went and they gave me 3 separate warehouses that I should send my products to. So they want me to send two of them to their warehouse that's called EWR4, which is in New Jersey, AVP1, which is in Hazleton, and going to California. My one miserable piece going to California is gonna cost me more money than the 5 pieces that are going to Hazleton, Pennsylvania. So that's why it is good when you buy or when you ship to Amazon, do them in either in case packs. Try to stick to more than, when you go home, try recreating another shipment to Amazon with 20 pieces or put 25 pieces, and see, chances are you're going to get them all to go to here. Now the reason why I have what is a gray box over here is because going to Hazleton to this AVP1, I already have another whole bunch of I have a bunch of existing shipments, and they're allowing me, that are still open, and they're allowing me to add it to it. But I'm going to keep it over here by create new, because don't forget, if you have only one item, you're only going to have one line over here. I could give it a name. I forgot to put a name inside this box, but you could still change it once the process starts. You'll be able to go back and change it. And now I'm going to see my 3 shipments, and I work on each shipment, even though they were all connected to one plan. So you see the plan was called FBA 5/19/15, 5/17 p.m., but it broke it up into 3 separate shipments. And now I'm going to go and I have to send these products to Amazon. What I should have done was I should have opened them up in different tabs. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to open them up in different tabs so that I could show you the difference in how much money it costs to ship. Well, it's not even right. So I'm going to put in how many boxes I'm shipping to Amazon, because that's how many. Before we jump to that, I could review the units that I'm sending into Amazon. And then I have over here this concept. I have.
Make it bigger, maybe?
Yeah, if I make it bigger, we don't get to see the whole screen, but we'll figure it out. Okay. So Amazon gives you 4 different options to ship merchandise into them with. Now, SPD means that I am sending small packages, regular boxes with UPS or FedEx. When I started sending things into Amazon, I thought I have such good rates with FedEx, let me use my own FedEx ground account. So I went to here and I selected FedEx. They gave me a label to put on the box, which is not a shipping label, and then I went and created a FedEx label myself in my own system to send it into Amazon. Most people, and what I recommend is you keep it on small parcel delivery, and you're sending it into Amazon with Amazon's partner carrier, that is UPS, because you'll see how cheap the UPS rates are going to be. I mean, most people, unless you're like a Walmart, you probably can't compete with how much business you do with UPS. So you'll create the UPS label on Amazon's account with Amazon's rates, and you send it into Amazon. It gets received by Amazon the quickest, and by, you know, if you sent it out today, by tomorrow afternoon, your items from the 3 shipments that we have, your items will already start selling. They'll be listed as, you know, fulfilled by Amazon. You'll have a chance at the buy box. LTL is when you go pallets. And now Amazon also started that they give you back a rate quote for how much money it will cost you to ship your pallets to Amazon. So I'm shipping this with UPS. I'm putting in that I have 1 box. My box weight for this item is 1 pound. Okay, I can
You guys, I just want to make sure that you're all following along. Because he's actually throwing on some nice little bits of information, even if you do know how to use the system.
and then I'm gonna hit calculate. You see, it's costing me $3.18. Don't forget, on anybody's UPS account, you're not gonna pay less than $7 to ship even a 1 pound item with ground. You know, if you have a really good rate, you'll pay $6. You know, if you do millions of dollars, you'll pay $5. So Amazon gave us a very good rate. But then I could do I agree, and I'm gonna show you just for, like they say, just for the ships and giggles part, I'm gonna show you the other packages, how much money it would cost. I agree to the terms and conditions, I accept the charges. Now, another thing, Amazon has a box label that they want you to print, which is like a packing slip to put into the box. And then I have my, then I have my, I have my label, the box label that downloaded as a PDF is gonna be the label. You see, this half of the label is one part of Amazon's label, and then if I scroll down on the page, I'm gonna have the UPS label that I have to put on the box. Some shipments that you make, Amazon's gonna say, if you wanna put a packing slip, or when you ship pallets, they want you to put like a packing slip paper inside every box. Really what it is exactly this. So I don't put them into the box, but it must be on the outside of the box. And it has to match, if your shipment's gonna be 3 labels, you see this is box 1 of 1, and this ends with 001, so the second one is gonna end at 002. The labels have to match, so you get like those 8.5 by 11 sheets that are, you know, two labels on it, each one's a half a page, and it prints out beautifully on it. You see that has the FBA number. You'll start checking up, you know, you'll see a record of your shipment. The FBA number with that 001, and then you just go, you tag your item up, and you give it to UPS. I'm gonna avoid the charges because I don't wanna pay for this. But I wanna go back to the other shipments and show you, let's say, the one that's going to, where was it? Here, you see, this is the one that was going to Newark, New Jersey. Then we had one item that was going to Ontario, California. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I leave it on, you know, small parcel delivery. I'm using UPS. I put in its 1 box. If I put 10 over here, then I have 10 places to put the weight into in the lower part. And I'm going to do calculate. Not so bad, 418. Not so bad. As it gets heavy, it's going to be much more expensive. That's the concept of how you would send something into FBA in the short run. Okay, if you had 10 items that you were planning on sending in, you know, when every page that you're on, you're able to go up over here and you're able to see the review and modify the units. But the bottom line is, take the item, the one item that you want to add to your plan. If I take another item over here in my FBA inventory, and I say that I want to send it into Amazon. Let's say I want to send 3 different items to Amazon. So I would take this. I say, you know, I want to create a shipment. So before, what we did was I did I did convert to FBA. Now, what I just did before was I didn't do convert by to FBA. I went to my FBA inventory, Amazon Divides inventory. You can see all your inventory in one screenshot, or I could go to manage FBA inventory. That's what I went to. I'll go back here. And then I took items that are already FBA SKUs. I checked it. You can check a few of them over here, but for now I just checked one. And I do send replenished inventory. And then it brings me again to this page. But notice on the top over here, I want to do, okay, I'm going to do again individual. But I want to also add more items to my shipment now. So you see I can go over here to add products, and I could copy more SKUs over here and add them into my shipping plan. And again, send them. The more things you send to Amazon at a time, no, it just becomes affordable. So now we're doing a test. We're going to send one piece or two pieces, and everybody will take whatever they could send it in. But if you're only sending in 2 items, don't forget your cost per item to send it to Amazon is going to be $2 or $3. If you're sending in 100 items, you're instead of paying the $3, we'll pay $5, but then you divide that cost across 100 different items that are going into Amazon. I'm trying to think of what else I could add to. Again, try when you get home. Try these different things. Like for homework, take the same one item that you're sending in, and after you create the label and you ship it, and by the way, you can email me. I answer emails at night because that's when I catch up to everything that I do at the end of my day, and when I catch up for all the things for the next day. So if you email me while you're doing it, I'll try to help you. Try to take the same item and see what happens if you do case pack with 20 pieces, and you'll see that Amazon's not going to break it up. And then do another thing. Send it to Amazon individual items, but see what happens if you select 30 items. And then chances are Amazon will also send them all into one place.
Why, if you're sending more, are they sending them into one place versus you're sending less? It doesn't make. It should be the other way
I
around.
don't know. It's not just based on that. There's so many things that it's based on. Because I have already a account that has a lot of business on it, and I send things into FBA every day with UPS pallets, whatever it is. I'll get more often my account or another very active seller's account will have all their merchandise shipped to one place. And you'll try to replicate the thing that I'm doing, and you're going to have it no matter what you do. It's going to keep on breaking it up in different numbers. It's going to be 3, 6, and 2, or 120 and whatever at the different places. Another thing is if Amazon considers it to be a heavyweight item, they all have to ship to a separate heavyweight and extra and oversized items, which doesn't mean too big. Oversized. A printer like this will be oversized. It doesn't really have to be so big.
Or maybe if it's something very long,
or something, or Amazon, and it all depends on what's in Amazon's system. What they have built in. Then Amazon will already make you break them up. Another thing is if you're sending to Amazon commingled items. So when I generate my SKU on Amazon, if you hover over on the settings, the top right corner settings, there's a thing over there that says FBA settings, and that shows you choose. That's where you'll choose commingled or not. So if on one shipment I have commingled items, which means that it starts with the ASIN will start with see here, these are all non-commingled items. So if I choose this item together with a commingled item, there's a very big chance that Amazon's going to separate those things also. So you have to take all that into your consideration. And by the way, this stuff, it sounds like it's nothing. When I started, I wish somebody would have told me, oh, check out, you're crazy, why are you shipping on your own FedEx account? I didn't even think of using Amazon's UPS account to see how cheap it is. Or the whole concept of how to try to, but the truth is when I started, the Amazon was giving you mostly to ship all your merchandise to one location. Another thing that you're going to see on the settings tab, and you should check it out tonight also, is a setting of if you want to do placement, I think they call it placement, or something else. inventory placement or something, and that, the difference between those two is, if I set it, when I create SKUs, it all depends on what my setting is. If my setting is stickerless, then my SKUs will be made stickerless ones. They won't have this XO number, and they'll be commingled. If I changed my setting, and then I went and I created an FBA SKU, meaning I created a SKU and I said I want it to be FBA, or I converted a different SKU and made it be FBA, but my account was set to be non-commingled, then every SKU is gonna end up being created with an XO label. Am I making sense? Let's say I have, right now, well, you have it, I mean,
Yeah, that was.
it's gonna make sense when it comes to the Tuchus of the dish. Right now, this transparent film dressing I have over here, it's an XO label, but I made a mistake. I don't wanna have to pay my worker or myself to go and create it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my settings, I'm gonna change it to be commingled, and I'm gonna have to create a new SKU for Amazon. I'm gonna have to call it something else. I'll call it a dash, I'll make a dash, or I'll have to give it another name, and then Amazon will create it and it will be a commingled item.
Why will they change it if you change it?
Not a, because right now, this item right here, this 3G film dressing, whatever it is a non-commingled item, okay? Let's take this scenario. That means,
How does it indicate if it's going up?
you see, because it starts with an XO, that means that my setting is that I want all my items separate. I don't want them to be commingled, okay? Because I'm a chacham and
I just want to point out just a couple of small things. First of all, many discussed the idea of commingling or not commingling. On certain items, for sure, if you're afraid that some people are selling items that are counterfeit, or that some people are selling refurbished as new and stuff like that, you always want to label your own items. You never want to be in a situation where your customers end up getting refurbished goods or someone else's problems. If you don't trust the product that someone else is selling, keep your product separate. You know, specifically if you're selling a good item. If you're selling a non-good item, which I never recommend, probably better to commingle it so you're not going to have that.
Just say that Amazon will catch it, or they have cameras.
if you send in refurbished or used stuff, Amazon's gonna catch it.
And I'm going to tell you even more. Amazon knows if your item was shipped out or someone else's item, even if you do not, even if you commingle, if Amazon wants to check in their system whose item was shipped, they know. So
if they know, then why to worry?
No, I'm
Because
just
Amazon takes all their information to benefit only them. So they know, that means if there was a problem, they're gonna penalize you, saying you sold counterfeit because the customer got something that he complained about, even though they know that the item was someone else's, and they'll penalize them also. But they're gonna hear you. They use their information to.
Okay. So I just want to. Mandy actually took you through the process, and they threw in a lot of little things to think about. And I understand you're not going to remember everything.
If we've never done this, this is going in maybe too deep because we're not.
Okay.
No, because it's gonna make a difference when you're gonna go home tonight and you're gonna look around.
One of the things I really wanted you to do as part of this class, I really wanted everybody to sit here with a laptop and actually prepare FBA labels. Whoever is in a position. I actually want you to do it. I want you to go ahead and take the items that are sitting in front of you and go through the process and list the items, price them as the same as the other seller.
Assuming we got these for free.
For now, yes. For this and for all intents and purposes. Now, as part of the exercise for this coming week, until we get back together again, I want you to start looking for items to sell. You now have data in your head to start working with. I want you to look at items, I want you to look at camel, I want you to do the revenue calculator and see if you can find some items that you can buy right now. Not in large quantities, don't go crazy, but sometimes it's even a crazy sale in Target.
I'll give you an idea, go to like Slick Deals. A lot of people start out like that, go to Slick Deals and look at items, like let's say Newegg has a limit 5 per customer. And go to, there's another website called Tech Bargains. They're good. When I started my business, I used to buy over there I used to buy a lot of things. And even if you're not gonna buy, just look what happens if I take from their daily deal that has on the Slick Deals forums has 150 thumbs up, let's say, and see what happens if I bought 5 of those pieces and I try to resell it on Amazon.
Okay, I'm going to actually try to put some of those names in an email that I sent. Did you guys get the email that I sent last time? Okay, so I'm going to try to put slick deals, tech bargains, and things like that. This is really good. You guys are still young, you're early, you're starting out, so you can still do some of these things, which Mendy and myself, we don't have the luxury to do that anymore. We can't spend our time necessarily looking, but some of those opportunities are the best opportunities that you're gonna get. But let's say Newegg picked up a deal on an item, they're selling it so cheap that you can sell it on Amazon, make money. Just how, be really careful to check that you could sell the item on Amazon. Remember we discussed last time that certain items are restricted, so make sure you could sell it and that you can sell it as new. But you can actually use your credit card, buy an item on Newegg, let it be shipped to your house, and then go ahead and send it into Amazon, make a sale and make money for yourself.
I was shopping, trying to find a bunk bed for my kids, right? And I saw there was a whatever big sale at Walmart, rollback, now the rollback got cheaper. I found the item by the time I tried to put it into the cart, it was already sold out. I figured, let me look online, see if I could find it somewhere else. And basically the exact same item is already being, like, I could see people who already listed it on eBay, but it's gonna take like 6 weeks for you to get it.
It's
So I
pre-listed before they even,
yeah, they didn't even get it yet,
Yeah.
and they're already listing it, and they're just making the
it
headline.
gets so bad, you should use it to your benefit, but it gets so bad, let's say eBay does dated deals, right? So let's say a reputable company, B&H Photo, or Rama Cameras. So they sell a MacBook, they're a dealer from Apple, they sell, this in the small, cost $999, right? $999. But eBay wants to do a deal, so they, and the way eBay's deals work is that sometimes they also subsidize the deal. So that means they'll say, we want you to sell it, in other words, Apple's giving you a discount, you always pay for this item $700. Now they're gonna give it to you for $650. So they want, because Apple also everybody works together to do the deal, so you'll sell it for $949, not $999, for $50 less. So then eBay comes along and says, you know what, get permission from Apple, sell it for $10 less, and we'll give you back $10 for every item that you sell, okay? Now, it's a very good deal, because they're items that are price protected, but what ended up happening is that the minute it went up for sale, you know, Moshe Schwartz on Lee Avenue bought 30 of them, and you know, Yerucham Finkelstein from Borough Park bought another 50. Before you know it, was all and then 2 days later, the stuff is being sold again on eBay and on Amazon, but they have to be cheaper than the regular price. So Apple went to try to give a deal, but before they know it, they killed the item themselves because it's being sold everywhere for $975. The regular price, if it's not the deal price, should have been $999. That guy who's selling it probably didn't do his numbers right because he's probably not going to end up making money on his, you know, almost $1,000 investment. But the point is that there are crazy deals that you could get online and that you could sell. And where you said, take every one of those Newegg deals, check on eBay, and you'll see how many sellers. You know, a Harman Kardon home stereo system is a $600 item that nobody sells online. But the day that Newegg gets it in stock, all of a sudden there'll be 120 sellers selling it on eBay and on Amazon.
I'm just gonna give you, I really want you guys to start businesses this week in some form or another. I don't care if it's one item, if it's two items. First, I'm sending home items with you. I want those all for sale. I want you to send me a link. Send me an email link to your items for sale on Amazon. I want to see that you did it properly. I want to see them in FBA. I want the sales to start. I want the business to start. That's number one. Number two, I want you to start finding your own items. Look for them. I want to tell you, a lot of these businesses start purely accidentally. I have a friend of mine that he was looking for a cover for an iPad or something, and for a specific cover, and it wasn't available. And he's like, what kind of, I'm looking for, like, I'm going to make my own. And he ended up opening a whole business of manufacturing his own covers, and he built a huge business out of it. So sometimes a business starts because you're looking for a bunk bed for your kid, and sometimes a business starts because you happen to know a friend of yours that is in the eyewear business and has access to different types of product. What you're going to be in matters much less than what you do with what you have available to you. But think about who you know in your life, who you have access to, who has products available for you that you can make money with. Then take this process over here, research the product, the history of the product, look at the sales rank of the item, look at how many stars it has, look at the revenue calculator, list it on Amazon, make sure you could sell it, send it into FBA, and start making sales. That is our goal for this week. It's as simple as that.
Taking notes. Can we make a bullet?
I-
Send it.
I'm gonna send you an email.
Bullet points?
I'm gonna send
If you
you.
list the item FBA and it doesn't show up, but you're selling it, if you're not featured, when you send it into FBA, you'll probably become featured. That's a way that Amazon, that's like Amazon has to be able to get people to send more things into FBA, because they want, when something's in FBA, they can give the customer the full Amazon experience. So when you send it into FBA, Amazon allows you, you'll become features, even though if you didn't, you wouldn't get the buy box. Even if you're not like a featured, even if you're not featured in that category. And one more thing that I would suggest when you look at an item, and this is somewhere even the biggest, real, authentic distributors of any type of item are going to try to screw you, and people don't realize it. They say, okay, look at this item. Look at it on Amazon. Like we said, it sells for $40 on Amazon. I'm giving it to you for $14.95. It's a lightweight item. All the numbers work. But when you go to the item, when you look beside it, it's real. Show you the 4 stars on the top. Also, when you look at the reviews, go down to the bottom to the customer's product reviews. You want to see only verified purchases. So that means Amazon allows people to write reviews, even if you didn't actually buy. You want to look at verified purchases, and also look at those. You want to see all the reviews, and there's a way for you to see all reviews and sort them by the most recent ones. Because Amazon's default is going to be, they'll show you the ones that people look at the most, or the ones that they think are the most relevant. But you're going to go and you're going to look at the most recent ones, and you're going to see that Camel shows that Amazon dropped the price down to $29. So it's not a $40 item, it's a $29 item. And you're also going to notice that since 2012, there wasn't even one review. What does that show you? That shows you that this really hot item that they picked the price up to $40, that okay, Camel showed $29, but you're going to try to say, well, maybe it only was for a little while, and then you're going to look at those reviews, and you're going to see that nobody bought that item since 2012.
If something looks too good to be true, then it probably.
Are they even this thing with reviews is another thing. I got hurt a lot of times. You buy something, even if it's not a lot, 100 pieces for $20 a piece is a lot of money for a business that's starting out. And if you don't sell even one piece, this hot item, to do the shtick. I have another customer of mine who's very, they do that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what is not so.
For me, almost always when a guy says to me, I have someone else that wants it right now, you have to let me know. I say, that's great, sell it to him. I don't even want to hear
So
it.
you got pressured into buying something and you didn't, but now you look and you're like, wait, this item didn't even sell one miserable piece, something's wrong. So when you do your review, all these things, I think it's a good way to start. Slick deals, tech bargains, and look at the reviews. And another thing, even though we said in sexy product categories like electronics or cell phones, 16,000 is going to be a very good seller.
Okay, yeah, I would say
16,000 in kitchen will sell 2 or 3 pieces a week. 16,000 in cell phone accessories could sell 30 a day.
The other one.
Or
the toothbrush. You seen the toothbrush?
and I found this week we ran something on that was featured on Slickdeal's homepage on Amazon, and throughout the 24 hours we sold every single piece that we had in stock, and it still stayed at 586,000. And normally when the sales pick up, the page rank is supposed to drop. It stayed, this is what confirmed that Amazon manipulates the fee. It stayed until
Mandy, let's not yet cook.
until I
Or
already.
is it just that
Until I
takes a
sold
day
my
to
last piece,
refresh?
we undercut Amazon. No, we undercut Amazon, and until I sold my last piece, the page rank stayed exactly the same. 5 minutes later, after we had no pieces left in stock, all of a sudden it dropped to number 14.
Okay, Amazon doesn't update their sales rank every 5 minutes, so, but listen, bottom line, you're going to make mistakes in the beginning. Make sure that the mistakes are not too big right away. Make sure that the mistakes stay a little bit smaller. Stick to the general rules that we discussed. You're not going to remember everything we said over here, and you don't have to remember. But I want to see these items for sale. I don't care if they sell or not. I want you to follow through the process. Send the item into FBA, follow the rules, get the labels onto the boxes, send them in. Send me the links. I want to see that you did it. I want to see that you did it right.
So for how much? Whatever, competitive or below?
Yeah, you research what the competitor. Right now, we're not trying to, but at the same time, if someone offers you a product for sale this week, you go ahead and you look if the product makes sense and if you can sell it, and try it. A little bit here, one there. Try to get something going. We're gonna have a class where we're gonna focus more on how to buy, where we're gonna look at some of the more things. He was mentioning sales ranks. We're gonna discuss that in another class. This is good information. It's very good information for you to have. For example, number 5,000 in electronic means it sells once a day. Number 1 in electronics means it sells 2,000 times a day. Number 10,000 in cell phones, or number 12,000 in cell phones will still sell 2-3 times a day. And number 1 in cell phones will sell a couple of thousand times a day. Number 2,000 in cell phones is a good sales rank. Number 2,000 in another category is a bad sales rank. So the more you learn, the more you know, the more you get a little bit of an indication. However, right now, there's something that you can do that will teach you. Look, he was talking about Amazon verified purchases. We're not plugged in over here anymore, but when you go to the reviews, you can click on the reviews and you can sort the reviews either by most relevant or by most recent. So if you sort the reviews by most recent, you look at the reviews that came in. I figured out that generally speaking, 1 out of every 30 customers leaves a review. That's the general rule on Amazon. That means that if you see 1 review, that means 30 people bought this item. There are different types of items, like ink toners. Not every person is going to leave a review on an ink toner, so you have to play with it a little bit in your mind. But the general rule is, a person buys an item on Amazon, 1 out of every 30 people is compelled to leave a review. So if you want to know how many times the item sells, you look how many reviews came in, let's say, over the last 7 days. So for argument's sake, if 10 reviews came in over the last 7 days, how many items sold over the last 7 days? 300, which means how many items sold per day? Approximately 40 items per day. Now, you look at how many sellers are there. How many sellers do you have to compete with? Let's assume there's 5 sellers. How many can you expect to sell?
I'm just thinking I have to create an Excel sheet, but I just put it.
Okay.
There's 5 sellers and you're
That's why
selling
we're
40 a
doing
day, so
this.
you can
We're
make
not
it
just
late.
talking about it, huh? 7 or 8 pieces a day, right? Now you have to understand there's a lot of other little variables, but just remember these are all things to consider. That means you're not going to sell 40 items a day because 40 items a day sell. You're going to be 1 out of a bunch of different
I
sellers.
also want to make sure those reviews are not bad reviews, because if there was recently a problem with the product, maybe 1 out of every 5 people are mentioning how bad it was.
Okay.
It has a bad review because people are in general, the sales for that item are just gonna go slow.
As I mentioned before, try as much as you could to stay away from items that have bad reviews. They create problems for you, even if your item is perfect.
Hello.
Don't go by stars, don't go by stars, sort by the recent
Yeah,
reviews,
okay.
and use your head to see if most of them will be, above, mediocre or under it. And if you look at companies that do hundreds of millions of dollars on Amazon, their buyers, they're the people who list, they all use Excel sheets. Each one has their own shtick of what they check, but like you said, I have to put it into Excel. They have all these different formulas built in, and they punch in, okay, it has this sales rank, it has this, it has this, should I sell it or not?
Okay. Now, nobody expects it to be perfect, but I'm going to reiterate: these items are going to be for sale on your page this week. You send me the link. You find other items. I don't care if you do or you don't. You want to ask me something. You want to confirm something with me. I have this one item. Does it make sense? I'll try to give you time. I'm going to be out of town, and then there's Shavuos. We're probably going to push off next week's class by a day to Wednesday. Does that work with most of you guys? Can't do Wednesday.
Yeah, I have a class here also.
How about Thursday?
Tuesday's the only day of the week.
So then maybe we're gonna have to it's gonna be hard to do.
It's almost impossible because it's a long weekend and we're going to be Memorial Day catch up plus Shavuos. I don't know. I'll let you know by email. For now, we have to assume that possibly next week is not going to happen if we cannot schedule it for a different day. But as I said, you have your homework cut out. I'm going to send you at least 1 email with some of the things that we discussed so you have items to work on. and you have actionable items, okay?
If there's
Would-
no.
Are you gonna be able to maybe also send a couple of the other deal sites? I mean, I know of some of them, but
Yeah, we're
it
gonna,
doesn't hurt.
I'll try to think of places that I, that, you know, to